our old listeners and welcome to our new listeners. To all things being equal, where there's just not two sides to every issue. There's not just two sides to every topic. There's not just two sides to every story. And there's not just two sides to every concern. There's three. And here, at all things being equal, we take on all three sides. We take some sprinkles from one side and some sprinkles from the other side, and we put them together to get that third side, that truth side, that side right down the middle. That's what we do here at All Things Being Equal. Now, with this episode, I primarily wanted to talk about the impeachment process, or the second impeachment of former President Donald Trump. However, that's been done now. So we're going to kind of pivot. We're going to pivot and talk about the conviction process. We're still going to include that impeachment, or the second impeachment. We're going to kind of pivot and kind of focus on the aspect of one side who says and feels that former President Trump should be convicted. And then we're going to talk about that other side that says he should not be convicted. Hell, this side feels as if he should not have even been impeached again. And then we're going to take some sprinkles from that conviction wanting side, and we're going to take some sprinkles from that non-conviction side, and we're going to put them together. And we're going to get to the truth. We're going to put both sides sprinkles together to get that side that's right there down the middle, the truth. Because that's what we do here at All Things Being Equal. And in our last episode, well, it really wasn't an episode. It was more of an introduction. But I mentioned then, here at All Things Being Equal, there are going to be some things that we talk about, that we say, those sprinkles that you may not like. And then there are going to be those sprinkles that you will like. But with this podcast, you're going to have to clean out your ear so that you can hear better. You're going to have to put some Visine or something in your eyes so that you can see better. And hell, you're going to have to clear your mind so that you can think better. Because your side is not 100% correct. The other side is not 100% correct. But when we get to the truth, it's going to be time to break it down. Because we're at a stage right now, especially here in the United States, where we got some real issues, where we got some real topics, where we got some real concerns, and where we got some real story that needs to be broken down. And this is a major one here. It's because there's a lot happening right now. We're at a point where if we don't do this right, things can explode. So here, at All Things Being Equal, with this episode, it's so deep, and we've been talking about it. We may have to break this down into two separate episodes. It's because I don't want to take any particular episode longer than 30, 35, 40 minutes, because I don't want to lose your concentration. I don't want to lose your focus. So we may have to break this baby down into two different episodes, because this is deep. But before we even get into that, I kind of want to do some house cleaning. So bear with me before we jump into what we're going to talk about today. And the house cleaning that I wanted to do is that I was thinking about, I wanted to do something kind of different at the end of this episode, because it's a quote I've been thinking about. And so I'm like, wait a second. Maybe I can do a little prize with this quote. Because it's a beautiful quote. It's a deep quote. And it comes from a really, really good movie I like. It's probably one of the few movies I've watched multiple times. But I'm going to give this quote. And I wanted to do a prize for everyone who sends me an email with the correct movie where the quote came from. They're going to get a discount from one of my sponsors, Xavier Designs. And that's why I want to clean house, is because I was talking with the sponsor, who happens to be my son. He owns the company. He's doing a great job with it. So I'm talking with him about the prize. And so I'm talking with him, and I said, let's give the correct, whoever gives the correct answer, email me the correct answer. Let's give them 20% off the next order. He comes back to me and said, Dad, that not gonna work. And so I'm like, my son, I'm like, what do you mean it's not gonna work? That's a good deal. He said, Dad, that's not gonna work. How about if we give him 10% and free shipping? That's his side. So we're still talking about it. So I said, well, let's get to the truth. Let's get to the third side. He flipped it on me. He said, okay, well, Dad, what is the truth? Let's get to that third side. So then we took some sprinkles from our side, and we took some sprinkles from his side, and we put them together. And so we came up with 15% discount. I'm still going to work on it. I'm going to still work on it. But that's where we are right now. And that's what we do here at All Things Being Equal. We take some sprinkles from one side, some sprinkles from the other side, and we come right down to the middle. And that was simple between he and I. The issues and concerns and stories and topics that we have going on today is more complex. So when you start talking about sprinkles from one side, sprinkles from the other, to put together, sometimes when you put those sprinkles together, the truth gets altered through misinformation. The truth gets altered, and it no longer becomes the truth. And we're not going to have that here. Not at All Things Being Equal. We're going to break it down, but we're going to keep the truth. We're not going to give you misinformation. We're not going to give you disinformation, because we're not running around here trying to run for an office. We're not running around here to try to appease one side versus the other. We're going to take sprinkles from both sides, and we're going to take those sprinkles and we're going to put them together. And once again, you may not like what you're going to hear, but you're going to hear it anyway. It's like the old saying, it is what it is. And that's what we do here at All Things Being Equal. So we're still going to clean house. But at the end of this episode, or actually at the end of the next episode, I'm going to give you that quote. And then you send me an email with that correct movie where that quote is from. You got that discount from XavierDesigns.com. Now, with that being said, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get it going. We're going to get ready and jump right into it. And we're going to start off with that side who feels as if former President Trump should not be convicted in the upcoming Senate trial, and he should not have even been impeached. That's the side we're going to get ready and get into right now. And that's the side who were against impeachment, and they're against any conviction of former President Donald Trump. Now, they feel their biggest feeling or their biggest viewpoint is that you can't impeach someone who has already left office. You can't do it. He's already gone. So they felt as if, or they feel as if, the impeachment is a non-story, is null and void. Why impeach someone who's already gone? And then, because of 3 words that were in the articles of impeachment against Trump, incitement of insurrection, which was based on the Capitol riots. So those having the viewpoint from that side that's against him, that were against impeachment, that's against his conviction, they say, wait a second, that was just in his speech to his supporters before they went to the Capitol and tore it up. That viewpoint is going to say, wait a second, he always talks like that. There's never been any riots. That's First Amendment. That's his First Amendment rights. So how are you going to try to convict him on incitement of insurrection? He's always said things like that. And from their viewpoint, they're going to say, they're going to really throw out what he said at that rally. And what he said, I know, and this is a quote, I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. That one sentence from their viewpoint is why he cannot and should not be convicted on incitement of insurrection, is because he did not tell the people at that rally to go to the Capitol and bust some shit out. Excuse my language. He didn't tell them to do it. He just spoke. And what he did say, once again, and I'm going to give you his 3 words, peacefully and patriotically. That's what he said. So that's their viewpoint. And that he's been saying things like that for 4 years now. There's been no riots. There's been no uprising. And that's the basis of this potential conviction. Because from their viewpoint, they feel as if there are those in society that just want to get back at Trump. And they feel as if in this instance, why beat a horse when it's down? He's already gone. What more can he do? He can't do anything. They feel as if he saved them. He saved them from radical viewpoints from the right. They feel as if he saved them from radical viewpoints from the left. They feel as if he saved them from radical viewpoints from the center. They feel as if he saved them from themselves. And you have those from that viewpoint. They feel as if he is being targeted for no reason at all. They feel as if he jump-started the economy. They feel as if he put things in place that saved this country. They feel as if he stood up for what they believe in, which is many things to different people. But the biggest thing they feel against conviction is that he has a target on his back. They feel as if he is being unfairly prosecuted again. They feel as if he's being impeached and prosecuted. Why isn't the same being done to the incoming president, Joe Biden? Their viewpoint is that former President Trump has done nothing compared to what incoming President Biden has done and that his family has done. And a lot of that has yet remained to be seen, but that's their viewpoint. That's how they feel. They also feel that with Trump, they feel he's being individually targeted. They also feel that they are being individually targeted. The Republican Party, they're going to stick by him because that's their viewpoint. And they know they have a lot riding on it, so they're going to stick by that viewpoint. And they don't want to see this go forward because, once again, they say that you cannot impeach and convict someone who is not in office. The Constitution does not give the House and the Senate that power. That's their viewpoint. That's where they're coming from. That's how they feel. They're going to stand by their man. And it's okay. But we're going to get into the specifics when we take some of these sprinkles on how they feel being against a conviction of Trump. Hell, once again, let alone against him being impeached for the second time. So that's how they feel. And they're dead set against it. Please excuse me, I don't want to use that word dead because we've had some unfortunate deaths based upon that riot. But that's their viewpoint. And no matter if you like it or I like it, it's their viewpoint. We're going to take some of those sprinkles about what they feel. We're going to take some of those sprinkles and we're going to use that. We're going to, right now, we're going to take some of those sprinkles. We're going to put them in a little bowl and we're going to set it off to the side because we're going to take some of their sprinkles and we're going to put them together. We're going to put them with the opposite view so we can kind of mix them up. So let's take some of those sprinkles. I got them. I got them in a bowl right here. I'm going to slide it off to the side because we're getting ready to get into the viewpoint, the side that is for the conviction of former President Trump, and that was for his impeachment. We're getting ready to get into that side. And that's a deep side. It's because there's tens of millions of people here in the United States that feel that he should be convicted and that felt that he should have been impeached and that he should be convicted. We're going to get into that right now because we got some sprinkles from that to put with the sprinkles we just saved. So let's I tell you, we got some serious stuff going on. So let's get into that side. Who is for his impeachment and who is damn sure for his conviction. Let's get into it. Even though we're getting ready to get into it, all I can say is, let's get to the viewpoint of those who not only wanted former President Trump to be impeached, but to also be convicted. And we're going to break it down. We are going to start with a little bit of history, is because this is their main viewpoint into why they feel that Trump was rightfully impeached, and should be convicted. Let's take that time right now. History. In history, as far as the U.S. Capitol is concerned, there has been 4 times before this previous assault on the Capitol, 4 times where the Capitol has been breached and assaulted, basically. Let's start off with the first one. Back in 1812, during the war against Great Britain, when British troops burned the Capitol down. They burned it down to the ground. It was like starting over. The second time was in 1915. It's interesting. 1915, when a bomb went off in the Senate reception room on the 4th of July weekend. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but it was a breach. Let's speed a little forward to 1954, when the House was in session. A few members of the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party came in the Capitol with guns. And they start shooting. Boom, pow, pow. Start shooting. And they were protesting for Puerto Rico's independence. 5 members of Congress were wounded, along with other people, House members, pages, and law enforcement. We're going to fast forward a little bit more. 1971, a bomb exploded in the Capitol building. Nobody was hurt, thank God. An organization called the Weather Underground took credit for that bombing as a protest in support of Laos and against the U.S., who was supporting that invasion. Let's fast forward to 1983, when another bomb exploded in the Capitol's North Wing. And when that bomb went off, thankfully, once again, no one was injured. And that was in retaliation for the U.S.'s involvement in Grenada and Lebanon. And with that bombing, that is when the U.S. finally said, wait a second, we're getting ready to tighten up security here. There's too many things jumping off. So they tightened up security. Or so they thought. It's because with those previous instances at the Capitol, those were what you can consider foreign terrorist acts involving 1, 2, or 3 suspects. What happened this year? Was an entirely different situation. What happened this year, number 1, involved domestic terrorists. That's one of the biggest viewpoints of those who want to see Trump convicted. Because it not only involved domestic terrorism, they feel as if he egged them on. They feel as if this was his end game that he started a few years ago, just in case he lost his re-election bid. And they feel, based upon the previous instances of violence that occurred at the Capitol, were in no way in comparison to what happened this year. That's why those three key words in the articles of impeachment that the House sent to the Senate: incitement of insurrection. And they won't him. They won't him. It's because in this particular case, not only did he egg them on, he pushed them. He told them where to go. He told them what to do. They want him. They want him because of everything that he has done over the past few years to sow the seeds of doubt in his supporters' minds. They feel as if he sowed the seeds a few years ago, a couple of years ago, last year, and the seeds have now come to fruition. And those seeds that came to fruition, if you were like them, you saw the same videos on TV, on social media, on your tablet, on your phone. You saw the same video as they did. And their viewpoint is like, when you looked at those videos, from their viewpoint, they're saying, let's just call it what it is. When you look at those videos, those rioters, those insurrectionists, they look like a bunch of roaches climbing a building looking for their last supper. And their last supper was going to be the congressmen and the congresswomen and the senators who are trying to complete transfer of power from one president to another. Now let's just, from their standpoint, let's just be real. Those folks look like some roaches, and they were trying to get their last meal. Climbing up the Capitol walls, beating on law enforcement with whatever they had in their hands. Fire extinguishers, hockey sticks, flag poles. It was a mob. It was insurrectionists. It was rioters. It was anti-patriots. It was anti-Americans. That is their viewpoint. And from their viewpoint, there was one main instigator, former President Trump, who was supposed to have not only the moral fiber, the moral being, the moral background as the most powerful leader of the free world to say, whoa, 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 this isn't right. This is the people's house. You better back yourself up. If you want to protest the election, do it at the ballot box. If you want to protest a certain ideology, do it at the ballot box. The ballot box is the American, United States of America, democratic process to voice your approval or your disapproval of what you like and what you don't like. That's the viewpoint from those who want to see him convicted. They feel as if he not only had a moral obligation to prevent that riot from ever occurring, he had the political power to prevent it from happening. They feel as if you don't feed a rabbit dog a meal and then take it back. Because if you do, when you let that rabid dog out of his cage, it's coming for you, baby. That's their viewpoint. They feel as if they feel as if those roaches, it's insane. They feel as if them roaches that was climbing up the Capitol walls, that was breaking in the windows, were fed. They evolved from being a rabid dog to being roaches. And the House finally, once again, said enough is enough. Those with the viewpoint said it's time for him to go. We don't give a damn that he's already out of office. It's time for him to go. And not only are we going to impeach him, which they have done, we are going to try and convict him. They are of the mindset where they feel as if they have to rein in the person who they feel was responsible for feeding that rabid dog. They feel as if they need to rein in that person who was responsible for egging on those roaches that climbed up the Capitol wall. Yes, they feel they were roaches. They look like roaches. And they feel as if the only way that they can do that, even though Trump is no longer in office, is to set a precedent. And I say, let me slow that down. Precedent, not president. Precedent is what they feel that they need to do right now. And that's what they're trying to do. They feel as if they need to put their foot down. And they feel as if the only way that they can do that is to punish the person that they feel is most responsible for that. And that is the person that these rabid dogs, that these roaches in their viewpoint were fed. The person who fed them. And in their viewpoint, that person was former President Donald Trump. So they feel that they gotta get him. They have to do whatever they can do to get him. That's why the three key words that they used in their viewpoint to try to get him: incitement of insurrection. Those three key words: incitement of insurrection, are critical in their viewpoint to preventing Trump from ever running for an office again, a federal office again. From their viewpoint, that's their objective, is because he's gone now as president of the United States. But in their viewpoint, they don't want him coming back. They don't want him coming back in 2024. So they use those three key words in the article of impeachment: incitement of insurrection. They want him. They feel that they're going to get him. They feel that it is necessary to get him. And their biggest, main point of impeaching former President Donald Trump and trying to convict him is to send a message for future Trumpists that this type of behavior will not be tolerated. That this type of behavior is not acceptable. Not here in the United States. We will not take it. We will not tolerate it. We will not accept it. Flat out, the shit ain't gonna happen here. And excuse my language, but that's how they feel. That the shit ain't gonna happen here. And the only way that they can do that is through the impeachment process. One of the ways. We're going to get into the other ways that they can attempt to make sure this type of behavior, whether it's political or whether it's moral or whether it's legal, we're going to get into other ways that they are trying to prevent this from happening again when we get to the truth. So right now, I'm going to take a little of these sprinkles here from those who feel that Trump was rightfully impeached, that Trump should be convicted. Let me get a little of these sprinkles here. And, hold on one second. Let me get my bowl back over here that we set aside earlier. So I can put some of these sprinkles and mix them with those sprinkles we hid from that other bowl. Ooh, yeah. Okay, we got them mixed, baby. Okay, we got them mixed. So what we gonna do now? We got these babies mixed. We getting ready to get to the truth. We got them mixed. We got the sprinkles from those who say former President Trump should not have been impeached and should not be convicted, and that everybody should leave him the hell alone. And then we got some sprinkles from those who say he should have been impeached and he should be convicted. We got these sprinkles going on, baby. They looking good. You can't see it, but I can. You can't hear it. I can. You can't think about it, but I can. But guess what? In that next session, in that next episode, I'm cooking it right now, baby. You gonna be able to see it. You gonna be able to hear it. And you're damn well sure gonna be able to think about it. Because that's what we do here at All Things Being Equal. So I'm gonna mix this up a little bit. We gonna take a break because I don't want to lose your focus. So we gonna take a break, and it's gonna end this episode right here while I continue to mix this up. I gotta warm the oven up. I'm gonna warm the oven up. I'm gonna get the fryer going. I'm gonna get the pressure cooker warmed up. We about to mix some shit out. Excuse my language. We about to mix some shit out. So in that next session, the next episode, we gonna get into the truth. We gonna mix this up. So I'm mixing it up right now. And I'm gonna throw a little bit in the oven. I'm gonna throw a little bit in the air fryer. I'm gonna throw a little bit in the pressure cooker. We gonna cook some shit up. And I'm gonna come back with you in the next episode. So take a break. Because I gotta wash my hands. Because I'm getting ready to prepare some shit. Excuse my language again. I know my mama gonna be like, boy, stop using language like that. But I'm sorry. We about to cook some shit out. So take a break. And I hope the FCC don't get pissed off at me. But it's all good. So take that break. Let me mix this up and come back. Come back to me for the next episode, for the truth, for the real truth. I look forward to you coming back to us here at All Things Being Equal.